Let me start this by saying that I am not an SJW. In fact, I'm as far away as possible from being one, and I hate them and their putrid vision of everything with a burning passion. And although I agree with many statements made by the right, conservatives' condemnation of abortion is one thing that I could never get behind. I was watching a debate involving famous conservative thinker Ben Shapiro some time ago, and he said something along the lines of, "You can't clearly determine a moment at which a fetus becomes a human being, and any line you draw in an attempt to do so will inevitably be arbitrary. Thus, the fetus should be considered a human from the moment of conception." I have to admit, when I heard this argument at first, I didn't know how to respond to it, even though I intuitively sensed a fallacy. Then I stopped the video and thought about it for a while until it finally hit me. You can apply this kind of logic to virtually everything. At what point does a car become a car? Is it when they put the wheels on the frame? Is it when they put the headlights on? Is it when the last brushstroke announces the completion of the paint job? Or is any piece of metal a car from the moment it enters the factory? Can a pile of bricks be considered a cathedral simply because it has been determined that they will become one in the future? After all, you can't draw any sort of line that isn't arbitrary, right? But we use arbitrarily drawn lines all the time. The legal drinking age, which is 18 everywhere and 21 in the US, is arbitrary. The age of sexual consent, which varies widely from one country to another, is also arbitrary. Speed limits are arbitrary. Legal driving age is arbitrary, and so on. Why should I get a ticket when I'm going 51 but not when I'm going 49? After all, there's virtually no difference between those two speeds when it comes to safety, right? Well, the law needs lines, whether they be arbitrary or not, and you should know that, Ben, you went to law school. On the subject of abortion, such lines can be drawn at the fetus's heartbeat, at the formation of the nervous system, at the emergence of the capacity to feel pain, etc. But that's not the point that I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that the when does something become itself argument is a major fallacy that you should never use and one that you should never fall for. The mere fact that the transition of things and beings from one state to another is gradual rather than instantaneous doesn't invalidate the existence of each one of those states. And it is utterly absurd and intellectually dishonest to reject the idea of the whole process simply because it happens slowly. Evolution happens slowly, but we don't treat unicellular organisms the same way we treat humans, do we? At some point, arbitrary lines need to be drawn in order to help our brains organize and categorize things with efficiency. They will be drawn based on common sense and thus won't be positioned perfectly, but that's still far better than nothing. The alternative to that would be for the law to allow your 10-year-old daughter to drive your car to a remote location going 150 km per hour, get totally shit-faced and fuck a 50-year-old stranger.